So what's going to change a narcissist? You see, a lot of times people think like, maybe I could have said something different. Maybe I could have changed my approach. Maybe I could have been more loving. Maybe I could have responded a different way. Maybe I could have exposed them. Maybe I could have attacked them. Maybe I could have done. And a lot of times people, they'll wonder and they think whether they're in the relationship or whether they're outside the relationship of what can I do to be able to change my narcissist? Maybe I can send them videos. Maybe I can get them into counseling. Maybe they won't go into counseling by themselves. Maybe we can go to group counseling together. Maybe we can, and all the time you're constantly thinking of like, what can I do to be able to get them to change? The hard truth and the hard reality when it comes down to it is you can try anything and everything under the sun to get another person to change. But until that change comes from them, it's not going to happen. That change has to come from them. They have to have their own reason, their own want, their own will, their own drive to produce that change. Otherwise, any other change is short-lived. That's what you've seen with the narcissist. You've seen the narcissist many times over and over say, I'm going to change. Say, I'm going to do something different. I'm going to go to counseling. I'm going to get involved with something. I'm going to help change how we communicate, like, et cetera, et cetera. You've seen that happen. That's part of the script. That's part of what narcissists do. That's part of what I would do. So it'd be many times in our relationship when I would get upset at my wife, I would get upset at the fact that she was getting closer to the truth. I would get upset that we're having this big argument or that she wants me to change or something like that. And that's when I would start pulling everything out. Be like, well, it's not my fault. Like, it's us. Like, we need to fix our communication. That's what it is. It's communication. Doesn't have to do with anybody else, anything else. Doesn't have to do with what I've done, what you've done. It's just communication. So we need to go to counseling. We need to sign up for counseling. We need to do X, Y, and Z. But then I wouldn't contact a counselor. I wouldn't research a counselor. I wouldn't try to contact a therapist or set up an initial appointment for onboarding or try to see if it's a good fit because I didn't care. Because I was just using that as a wall, as a barrier to be able to put up so that I didn't have to acknowledge who I was or that I needed to change. So anytime someone would bring that to my awareness or would bring that up to me of like, that I need to change, that I need to change what I'm doing, how I'm acting, how I'm responding, how I'm being, how I'm communicating. Now, let's find a way to excuse that. Well, I wouldn't be that way except I'm really stressed out because of work. I wouldn't have yelled at you, if you'd actually respected me. Well, I wouldn't have done this if you had actually done this. A popular one is, I wouldn't be mad at you right now if you hadn't looked through my phone and discovered that I'm cheating on you. Like, many things like that, the narcissist will try to twist it back around on the other person. Because the narcissist isn't interested in change. They don't change for other people, and they're not going to change for themselves unless they get to the place that they're going to be honest and vulnerable with what they're actually feeling, thinking, and change who they actually are. Any other change is going to be short-lived. That's what you've seen. That's what you've dealt with time and time after again. The quick promises, the short responses, the quick fixes of let's do this, the love bombing of, hey, it's all better. But nothing really changes. It's like a quick day, week, maybe even a month. But it doesn't last very long, does it? After a while, it slows down. After a while, you start to see the rage come out, the annoyance come out, the devaluing, the talking, like everything that starts shutting down you and shutting down that relationship, because when it comes down to it, the narcissist doesn't want to change. If you guys are new on here, my name is Ben Taylor, run Raw Motivations. Would love to talk to you further. If you're a narcissist, I talk with people who have narcissistic personality disorder or narcissistic traits, and I try to get them to help acknowledge the lies that they have in their lives and start building a life that's better and more full than the void that's created by narcissism. Then I also talk to a lot of people that suffer from narcissistic abuse. I try to help them break out of the trauma bond or the lies that the narcissist has put around them, or just sometimes help them understand the opposite side of it so that they can make peace with it and continue to move on and continue to grow. If you're interested in talking with me more, go to my website, rawmotivations.com, one-on-ones. Click on there. Would love to be able to talk to you more. Thank you guys for supporting. Please subscribe to my YouTube. Check me out on TikTok, Instagram, all different types of stuff we got on there. Or if you're listening to this, either on podcast, either with Spotify or Apple Music, thanks so much. But as we continue on, like here in this like couple minutes we have left, like when we're talking about narcissists, so like you've heard the phrase, like you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. Like that's literally the idea of narcissism, is you can walk them through all the different steps. You can walk them through the idea of acknowledging, the idea of, hey, these are attributes you do. This is the way you talk to me. This is how you gaslight. This is how you manipulate. You can walk them through all that stuff, and a lot of times they won't understand it. They'll look at it and they will have no clue what they're looking at. And they'll get to the end and they'll just be like, yeah, I don't do that. Like, that's not me. Like, that's probably you. I think this is more about you. They'll try to twist it around any way they can because, again, they're not interested in change. Because change for a narcissist has to involve truth, has to involve accountability, and has to involve awareness of who they are, what they're actually doing, how they're talking, communicating, the things that they're doing, the actions that they have, and to be able to actually look at that and say, hey, I acknowledge who I am or what I'm doing. Now I can change. They never want to get to that point, because change often has to be preceded by admitting that you're wrong, or that you're not 100% right, or that you're not perfect. And as a result, that change seems almost impossible to be able to come to terms with, because of the single fact that you don't want to admit that you're wrong. So as a result, you can try all you want, but change won't happen unless a narcissist is willing and wants it to happen. And even after that, it's got to be consistent change, and it's got to be honest vulnerability. Otherwise, you get to the place you're continuing in the cycle of lies and manipulation, and nothing ever changes. So you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. The same idea. Now, there's some people who've had some success in different ways. Not just telling the person they're a narcissist, that typically doesn't work. You know, just coming out and being like, I think you're a narcissist. Like attacking the person, that pretty much never works at all. I know I've talked to a couple people that have watched my videos either on TikTok or YouTube, and they've reached out and been like, I identify with what you say. I identify, like one guy talked to me and he was like literally as you were talking, like it felt like you were like speaking all my truth, all my secrets, because that's how I think, that's how I feel. So I've had narcissists that have reached out to me. I've had people that have sent videos to their narcissist, and it's like awoken something or like started that on a journey. But from what I've seen, it has to be very much kind of like set back as far as like, hey, this is something I was learning, or this is something I realized that might be something that you might identify with. But like anything that's not attacking that person, because that person is already built up on a lot of insecurities, a lot of shame that makes them rage, that makes them blame, that makes them attack other people because of all those different traits. So anyways, I hope that helps a little bit, just to give you kind of like a context and like a clue of like narcissists aren't going to change by someone else. Like you can't make them change. You can't force them to change. The change has to be a change that comes from them. And it's got to be consistent change and honest vulnerability, or else you'll never get anywhere.